When I was in high school, I took the Myers-Briggs personality test and earned the label ENFP.
I thought it was a fun way to skip a period, and I learned a bit about personality traits.
It seemed harmless enough. After all, there's nothing wrong with landing anywhere on the spectrum here. But not all personality traits are so harmless.
There are several called dark traits, which cause harm to the wielder and those around them.
Today, we'll learn about 3 particularly nasty ones known as the dark triad.
In 2002, Delroy Paulhus and Kevin Williams published an article arguing that 3 of these dark traits, previously thought to be highly correlated, actually turned out to be distinct. Their findings showed substantial differences in behavior for the 3 traits, despite a positive correlation between each pair.
2 of these traits have the pretext subclinical attached to them. That's to distinguish the severity from their clinical counterparts.
This severity can only be measured through assessment by a licensed psychologist, but tests such as the NPI, SRP, and Mach-4 are gold standards that you can try out yourself.
Check the links in the description.
After taking the 5-minute questionnaire, you'll receive a score, some relevant statistics and historical trends, as well as a more specific breakdown into subcategories.
Now, let's take a look at each part of the dark triad in more detail.
Psychopathy is characterized by a lack of empathy for others, a lack of remorse for actions, and being frequently driven by impulses. The term originates from the German word Psychopathie, credited to Koch in 1888. While psychopathy has a heavy genetic component, it can be developed from environmental factors such as childhood neglect and abuse. Psychopaths often engage in immoral or criminal behavior such as pathological lying, cheating in school or relationships, stealing property, and violence toward people, animals, and objects around them. Signs of this disorder usually appear as early as 2 to 3 years old and become more prevalent in later years.
In fact, approximately 10% of all people test positive for subclinical psychopathy.
Narcissism is characterized by an inflated sense of self-worth and an infatuation with one's own self-image. The term stems from the Greek story of Narcissus, a beautiful man who fell in love with his own image in a pool of water. The modern understanding came about when Robert Welder described it as a personality trait composed of a sense of self-superiority and condescending attitude toward others. As with psychopathy, narcissism has a strong genetic component, but can be developed through other means, especially when one rises quickly to positions of power in business, government, or as a celebrity. Narcissists can take many forms, each of which are distinct. Grandiose narcissists are manipulative in social interactions. They are often charismatic and authoritative, and use their charm and perceived power to manipulate those around them. Vulnerable narcissists have a low self-esteem, causing them to constantly seek validation and often enact vengeance when their needs aren't met.
On an unrelated note, please like, subscribe, and comment on the video. Otherwise, I'll be very sad. Now, where were we? Oh yeah.
There are many other forms of narcissism as well, with signs often appearing in early adolescence.
While subclinical narcissism is only present in about 6% of the population, studies have shown that social media has spawned a new type of narcissist, with more than 10% of college students testing positive for the subclinical classification. On top of that, a whopping 18% of CEOs worldwide exhibit narcissistic personality disorder. This is the clinical and most extreme form.
Machiavellianism is characterized by a drive to achieve success without regards to morals and manipulating others to achieve results. The term was coined by Christie and Geese in 1970 to describe this cold, manipulative behavior similar to that of Niccolò Machiavelli, a political advisor to the Medici family during the Renaissance. As with the other two traits, Machiavellianism has a genetic component, but it also has a strong environmental one, suggesting that nature rather than nurture may be the driving force behind its development. Machiavellians are pragmatic manipulators who will stop at nothing to achieve their goals. This trait shows itself in early childhood through lying as a manipulation tactic and cheating on schoolwork to achieve better grades.
Approximately 1 in every 6 people have this trait, with higher concentrations among business leaders. Speaking of,
a 2025 paper explored the effects of the dark triad on entrepreneurial passion and found strong correlations between the dark traits and the processes of founding new businesses, developing organizations, and inventing new products or services. Machiavellians show passion for all 3, while narcissists and psychopaths only show passion for 2 out of the 3.
If you meet someone with any combination of these traits, run. Run away as quickly as you can.
Not doing so could lead the Machiavellian to exploit you for their personal gain, the narcissist to manipulate your emotions for their personal pleasure, and the psychopath to turn violent, and none of them will feel the slightest bit bad about doing so. But for every yin, there's a yang, and that comes in the form of the light triad.
In a future video, we'll explore this end of the spectrum and learn about the positive psychological aspects of these traits. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.